order a pizza. I told you guys. It was amazing. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is one of the most sophisticated desks money could buy, and yet you have to be a rocket scientist. And by the way, I am a rocket scientist. And I was looking at this thing, and I said, you know what? I wouldn't jump on this desk right now and mix a show, and there's never a time that I would say that.
Wow.
Never. Even if I've never seen the desk, just give me 5 minutes.
Well, you get spoiled with the Midas.
Look at the size of that.
Wow.
Is that sick?
Beautiful.
Totally sick. This is
See
the wing that way.
Wow.
I mean, come on, come on.
Where is that?
This is in Orlando, and I just
Okay.
applied. Look at that. They got an SD5, which it's a sweet desk. But you know one thing about Midas, they're not trying to impress you with being so complex you can't use the desk.
Right.
They're trying to say the desk is already so complex, but what we're doing with our pod navigation and all that other stuff, we're making it so simple that anybody that just takes a few minutes to realize, oh yeah, I see where they're coming with this, use the desk like a maniac. This desk is so complicated, so complicated. There's 2 or 3 ways to do any one thing, which there's 2 or 3 ways to do any one thing in this as well, but ultimately they're just all really, really simple. Whereas, you know, sometimes people go overboard and they just try to make it so complicated, which I guess I used to think that was cool. These days, you know what, I want to turn it on, I want it to work right away, and then if I have time to get complicated, great. You know, if I don't, I want it to work right away. And he was going like, boop, 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 and I'm thinking, what is he doing? And then he starts to turn a knob, and that's what his end game was, to adjust something. Well, with me, 2 buttons, I'm adjusting, you know, dun, dun, and then I'm in here adjusting stuff, because all this stuff is here all the time. Even on this little desk, all of it, on every single Midas, every control, all the time. So I really
have a
appreciate
quick
it.
question. So say we want to go back to our original setup, we would just go to preferences?
No. If you want to go back to your original setup, you mean before I did all your programming?
Yeah, exactly.
Here, get out of here.
Okay.
You just enter, whoops, 50 bucks here. Let me just go anywhere right now to get somewhere. Okay, so we're there. So if we want to save, go back to your original thing, you would go to your automation. You'd go to this save thing, and the way I could do it was by going last. As soon as I do this, you're going to see a horrifying error. Watch. Are you sure you want to do that? If you do this, it's the equivalent of audio and employment opportunities in the near future are going to be missing. So what they're saying is you could be fired by doing this. If you would have hit OK, every one of these things would go back to green. They would all say 1 through X. Any programming I did would be completely annihilated. The patching would be minimal patching. Not a bad place to start if you're taking the desk out or renting it. Definitely do that, because they're going to be confused by your program.
Right.
You know, like me, when I see other people's programs, do I want to spend an hour analyzing their program, or do I just want to start from scratch? You know. So the Pro1, gentlemen.
So the thing is, you just went back to last?
Yeah, I just did last because see, I'm on the current scene,
Okay,
which is
default.
default 1. So if I do last, it'll ask me that same question again. If I hit OK, this desk is going to revert. And then, by the way, if I hit next after I revert, it's going to go right back.
We just hit last and then we don't hit OK.
If you don't hit OK, it's going to disappear in a second or 2 because it's going to know you were confused. But if you hit OK, it's going to revert back to factory. Okay? And then, assuming this default scene was saved, which I'm going to do it right now, save, store to next scene. No, I want to overwrite this current scene. Okay? Okay? Now if I do that, if I go last, the whole desk will revert, and if I go next, it'll come right back. All right? So when you're working with the desk, at first you're going to put a lot of hours work. I highly recommend you create files, scenes, and save your scenes. Because when you guys are doing one thing and you're doing another thing, you know, you want to start from where you ended. If you came in here Thursday night at 3 in the morning, and when you come back Monday, you want it to be what you want, and vice versa. You should have a general, here's how this room, or here's how my business operates, times 1 or 2 or 3 scenes. And then between all you guys, you should develop presets. So you might have 5 cool EQ presets that you don't even know about. Hey, by the way, when I was doing the keyboard player, he's in here every Thursday, I developed this cool preset he likes, use it. So your preset files, you all walk around with a thing, and when you're on your Pro1, plink, here's my preset file, and you can zap each other your presets and grow this preset file, because the preset file is not for a specific band. The preset file is the culmination of all the things you liked that you put time and energy into that you want to use again at some point. And you can lay them a preamp, an EQ, the way the reverb looks at that minute, the way the whole rack looks at that minute, the way just one thing in the rack, the way one EQ, the way all the EQ. I mean, it's endless.
I have one more question.
Okay, and then I'm leaving because I really have to go.
Okay, so I just want to put, for example, the graphic EQ on aux 1.
Awesome.
So
let's go to aux 1, which is right here.
Right.
Now we're in aux 1. Let's go to the EQ section. I'm sorry, I didn't go to the EQ section. Hey, now we're going to go to the EQ section, and there's the EQ section. And instead of the parametric, if I do this, I have just inserted a graphic EQ. There you go. Now let's go to the graphic EQ section so you don't think I'm a liar, and you can see, and you can name it whatever you want. It's that simple. And by the way,
is there an easier way to tweak?
Oh, sure. Well, you can do this, and you can make them really big, and then you can use these to manipulate them. If you'll notice, I'm hitting everything at once right now. Okay, one at a time. I can also make banks by just going right and left. It'll actually go through banks or up and down. I can't remember which one. There it is. Now it's banks. You see. So this way, I'm hitting a single individual. Those bands. Here's one band. And then I can do it so that I can say, hey, I really need to lower some mid-range.
Okay.
This is the sweetest thing. This is the highest end EQ money can buy.
That's the
and that's the one I told you could put an additional stereo ones in each of those rack spaces as well. You would pretty much never need to. By the way, these high and low pass and notches are also just, and by the way, everything on a Midas, everything can be turned on and off. Remember I told you that the blue screen is the most question I get? The next question is, I don't hear the compressor or EQ, but I see it moving. Turn it on and you'll hear it too. Because everything here has an on button. So you can set the compressor, you'll see the signal going through it, you'll see the result, but you won't hear it because you didn't turn it on. Why is it like that? The easiest way to decide whether you're helping or hurting. So you've done a massive EQ manipulation or gate manipulation or compressor manipulation, and you're sitting there going, did I just waste 20 minutes or did I help? Well, just turn it off. If it sounds better, then you know you wasted 20 minutes. If it sounds worse when you turn it off, you know you did something good. And then you can save that as a preset, call it whatever you want, and have it there for the future. Okay? You have my number, guys?
Do you have cards?
You know I have cards.
Perfect.
Actually, they're in my car.
How those?
Get him some T-shirts too.
Hey, thanks,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
What size